Welcome back, my friends. This is another episode of the Denial of the Day podcast. And I want to let you know we have an amazing podcast today that deals with something that most people don't know about, and especially some contractors that we've been speaking with recently didn't understand what this was and were very enlightened once we did tell them. Chris, my claims manager, Chris Barrientos, how are you, my friend?
You know what? I'm doing great. You know why? Because today's Thursday and the Denver Broncos play tonight.
Yes,
So
very nice.
excited to see them take on the Chargers.
Yeah, that'll be
Be
fun, right?
fun.
I love
It'll be
that.
great.
Dude, that's
So
so
no,
good.
yeah. Thanks again for having me on. Obviously, I love being on these, talking about all this stuff. It's very educational, I think,
Absolutely.
for us and our audience.
Yeah.
Um, you've mentioned this to me before, and I have kind of like a basic idea of it, but what
Okay.
exactly is a clue report?
It's a really great question. Clue, let me explain what it stands for. CLUE, Clue, Casualty Loss Underwriting Exchange. And it's kind of like what it sounds like. It records on an exchange that insurance companies can get the information from your casualty and loss. So, have you had a loss at your property? It is mostly for residential compared to commercial, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So, for lack of a better term, Chris, it really is like a credit report for your claim history.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
insurance companies like check this before obviously they want to decide to insure you.
Yes, absolutely. So we talk a lot about this internally, but the number one thing that insurance companies do is mitigate risk, right? They're trying to
Mhm.
reduce their risk so they don't have to pay out claims. Super smart
Mhm.
business model. I don't blame them for that, right? I
Yeah.
try to reduce risk in my life too. The thing is, the insurance companies kind of use this against you. So, can I share with you a recent experience that I had with a contractor?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So a contractor called and said, "Hey, I have a client that needs to make a claim on their property because they realized there was damage to the roof." They called their insurance company. The insurance company said, "Hey, that claim has already been paid and we're not going to pay your claim." And the guy was like, "What? That doesn't make any sense." And so what happened was the previous owner of the property had made a claim on that same damage, got paid, and then sold the property to this guy, the new buyer, that also realized, hey, this is damage. I need to make a claim. And so the insurance company's like, we're not going to pay this claim because the
Whoa.
previous insurance company already paid it.
Whoa.
Right. And they got that information from the Clue report, which pulls from multiple insurers, shows a broad range of historical claims snapshots. It shows the loss run report. So this is really important. Also related to that is the loss run is exactly what it sounds like, is the run of the losses depending on how long that time frame is from say January 1st, 2000 to today. Okay. How many losses has that property incurred and what kind of losses, how much was paid out, what the date of loss was, a lot of information that these insurance companies then use to determine how much they're going to charge you for the premium. And premium is based on risk.
Hmm. Interesting.
Right.
Well, so let me ask you this. I mean, can anybody look at a clue report? Because here's an example I'm thinking of.
Right.
Like if I'm about to buy a house, I would want to know if a claim has been filed on some damages and if the work's been
Absolutely.
completed.
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, yes, you as a consumer in the United States are able to get your own Clue report provided by LexisNexis. And if you just Google Clue report LexisNexis, I believe that's LEXISNEXIS, you're
Hmm.
able to get that for free once a year. So you can check on that once a year, just like you do your credit.
Credit report, huh?
However, just understand too that your insurance agent that you're working with should be able to do some of that due diligence for you, especially if you're looking at buying a new property.
Ah, yeah, that's just crazy though, how this one kind of slipped through the cracks. I feel bad for
Yeah,
that buyer.
dude, me too. And there's so many other things that go into it from my real estate background, right?
Hmm.
Wasn't that disclosed? If there was damage, why didn't the inspector find that damage? Like there's so many different things. I just have no idea regarding the specific scenario and all the details, but I feel like something was overlooked.
Absolutely. So which one do you think is more important, the
Loss
loss run
run.
report or the clue report?
They're one in, well, one is included in the other. So the loss run report usually is included in the clue report. So the clue report
Oh.
can show you more of all of the things. So say you've had a house for 25 years and you've made 6 claims on that.
Mhm.
The clue report's going to show all of that, the date of loss, the amount of the claim paid, plus the type of loss, versus the loss run might just show, hey, for these many years, it's been $150,000 paid out. So
Oh, I
it's going to be a
see.
little bit different information, but usually what you want to do when you're buying a house is maybe look for the loss run report on that property. And then for yourself personally, to see what the insurance company might be putting against you and your credit clue report would be the clue report.
Hmm. That's interesting. You
Yeah,
know, when we're done with this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check
right.
my clue report.
Yeah, order it up, man. It's free. You get to do that once a year.
Wow. Well, this is a really good topic. I'm glad you brought it up. Very informative, I think, for our audience and everyone.
Right.
So, yeah, no, this is really good. And,
Yeah.
you know, even the everyday person too that, you know, wants to
I
know
have to
their
like
history.
have a claim made. Right. So this is a great podcast episode for those that just have maybe run across this video and are like, oh, hey, I should check mine, just like you said yours, right? So
Hmm.
what I want to really convey though is if you're working on a claim and you don't think it's being paid fully, fairly, properly, contact us today, bellatorclaims.com, and we can see what we can do to help you out. But we appreciate it so much that you've joined us for another episode of Denial of the Day. And Chris, final words.
Go Broncos.